6-1, I'm probably going to lag in a couple seconds. That's basically been the theme every time.
Let's see. Prayers go to Tetra so that he will not lag or stutter.
Yeah, hooray the signal having to go 2 more countries over for it to reach me from you.
That's actually true. Germany's a little closer to China, which probably results in me just having a slightly better connection.
That's what we're gonna. That's the excuse we're going for, and we're sticking to it. Yeah, yep. There's the lag. Immediately.
Dang
and
it.
8-5-1. All right. Well, I'll try and get back down. 6-2. That's higher than usual. And
Dude,
then that's
6
gonna jump up.
is totally fine.
6-7. There we go.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'm just gonna do a final check for me.
Let's see how long that sustains for.
Yeah, 6 something is totally fine for us.
I hope so. Assuming, yeah, but it's gonna. I expect it's gonna lag in like a minute or two. We'll hope not as we continue. Genji is the final ban.
Yeah, makes sense. You know, the same old, same old. I was gonna say, can we find a word for, like another word for Trinity just with 4 heroes or 4 things in it? Is there even a word for it? I don't think there is because.
Say again. Sorry.
Like, there's the word Trinity, right? When you have 3 things in it, the Holy Trinity and stuff. Is there a word for 4 things in something?
Quadrilogy.
Is that actually a thing?
Pretty sure it is.
The Quadrinity. If it hasn't been a thing before, we now just made it one.
I'm pretty sure it's Rilogy.
Okay.
Quadrilogy. Might be wrong though.
We can also call it a quartet. I know that's a thing in music, when 4 people are making music together.
That's true. Might just be a quartet. Quadrilogy. Alternative to tetralogy. Tetralogy. Or quartet. Tetralogy. That sounds right.
There we go. All right, we just brought up a couple of funky names for you to memorize.
Yeah. One sometimes used particularly for series of 4 books or movies, etc.
Nice. And people say again that HGC is not going to teach you anything, especially with Tetra in the mix. You can always learn a little something, preferably about professional wrestling.
I can definitely teach a little bit of that. Not the moves, but some knowledge.
So that makes the question. See a single wrestling T-shirt of yours, right?
No, they're all unironed, and I'm basically going through all the shirts I have that aren't ironed. That don't need ironing, sorry. So I don't have to do ironing, because ironing sucks. Phoenix gets banned out here, removing a little bit of that teamfight potential. There's already a lot of slows on the side of SPT. This is an interesting question, because how many Fast and Furious movies are there?
Oh my goodness, more than I can count to. And I've only watched one, which is sacrilege to a lot of people out there, I know, but I've only watched Tokyo Drift, and that's it.
I have watched 2 Fast, 2 Furious, and Tokyo Drift.
Nice.
So like, how many, like, from that movie collection, or like the Star Wars movie collection, what is the term for that? Because we had the original trilogy, we had the prequel trilogy, now we have the new stuff. If we put all those together, what trilogy is it?
Yeah, now we have the boring stuff with Kylo Ren and stuff, so yeah.
I haven't watched one since Force Awakens. As we see Yarel getting...
Those are usually always the movies that I watch on a plane and fall asleep to.
Fair shout, fair shout.
All right. Probably we lost just half of our viewership for insulting the holy universe of Star Wars. We apologize, guys.
Well, everyone knows it's that war is bad and craft is good, so easy peasy.
All right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We kind of lost track of our draft here. We got lost in universes, if you will, but we found our way back to the Nexus right now, and let's actually take a look at what TheOne have brought to the table. They need another assassin of some sort.
Yeah, ranged or melee.
Yeah, that is correct. So it's probably going to be the hero of Meng that we're going to see in here. Oh, it could be... Wait. So Hugo is going to be on that Irel, which means that either Meng or Keshi are going to be... It looks like Keshi's going to be in that thrall. Sweet.
All right. I guess this is the joy of a
new player.
Joy of having a new player. You start to get slightly different hero mix-ups.
Absolutely true. Whereas before, Muggle, I think, would have never played a melee hero, or maybe he would have, but it was very unlikely for their playstyle back then. With Keshi, who is a very well-versed hero in terms player in terms of hero pool. We already saw that last phase at KT. It's pretty cool to see that. So can they extend their lead? Can they dominate SPT yet again? You can see him already on there. Melody C doing a little bit of stretching. Because there's a lot on the line now for SPT. Just imagine, Tetra, if they end up losing this game, they're going to sit at 1 meager point.
Yeah, they're going to be very, very behind the rest of the pack, including the A team and teams like that. And that would be shocking. The old guard appears to really be struggling, and the new guard appears to be stepping it up, at least for the moment, as we are preparing to head into our game number 2. TheOne, their draft looks very solid. That role, I really like that as a closer. It gives them great team fight potential, fantastic poke. I'm digging it.
And you brought up the term old guard, and I love it, Tetra. You know why? Because I think sometimes it takes a revolution, it takes an evolution to get rid of the old guard, redefine an entire region, and maybe young, hungry teams like, let's say, RPG, Beyond the Game, maybe they can lift and elevate China back to its former glory. So whether that remains to be true, of course, is still to be seen. But for now, guys, we're going to show you those teams once again on the left-hand side with the blue trunks. We see TheOne currently leading 1-0 over their opponents SPT. Hugo, Keshi, Meng, CJZ, and Huohuo.
And on the right, it is SPT. Super perfect team with Lucky, Melody C, Misaka, Soap, and ZZH.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, is it time for the first real upset of this young phase? The Chinese champions already struggling yesterday against the A team. Actually, that was the first real upset already.
Yeah, I would argue TheOne winning here wouldn't really be that much of an upset, really. I mean, these two teams have usually gone pretty toe-to-toe before, and TheOne are looking very strong. The SPT struggling in the draft of game number 1. Let's see if they can bring it back in game number 2. Their draft is certainly much more percentage focused. So we'll see if that's going to be exactly what they need. A good Entomb, if they can reach level 20 with Buried Alive, could be exactly what they need.
Yeah, already we see a little bit of a diverse approach to Tychus here. Melody C once again trying to spice and switch things up on the heroes he plays. Sergeant Hammer, last game he went for graduating range. This time on Tychus he actually goes for Combat Tactician, which gives him a cooldown reduction on run and gun with auto attacks. Normally what we're used to seeing is dash and sometimes press the advantage for an auto attack range increase. Pretty cool stuff to see here. He needs to be careful. Doesn't have all that much mana and health left.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that kind of variation. Like you said, you don't see this one very often. Ooh, he gets tossed in, but quick stun to Melody C, and he's able to back out. It's going to allow us straight to heal him up. Might even Fountain, just because he's dropped quite low on mana already. Yep.
Ace in the hole, of course, for Raynor. It's not really like. Infernal Shrines is kind of a PvE map sometimes, you know, if you want to race your opponents and sometimes try to deal with a Punisher, but it's not one of your classic PvE maps like, let's say, Brax's Holdout or BOE, in which you really have to have good racing potential. So yeah, the Ace in Hole makes a lot of sense. Actually, Murden going in for that Perfect Storm again as well. That's a classic Huohuo choice, right? He always tries to make those aggressive plays happen. In the meanwhile, we take a look at SPT, and everything is normal there for them as well.
Yeah, although the consume vitality is a little bit different, as in the eastern regions, we do see very often going for the Ossian renewal. So it is nice to see that little bit of variation coming in here, but it's for the shrine fights. This talent makes so much sense.
Murder getting flung into the backline. Guess who's already waiting in there? It is Tychus, and with the help of the minigun, they shred Murder into pieces. And with that opening, not only in terms of heroes, but also in terms of positioning in the bottom lane, they're going to take this mercenary camp immediately.
Yep, First Blood capitalizing into a Impaler camp just in time for the objective to spawn. They could even delay this a bit to keep the roll down here as long as possible, but instead they grab it straight away so that they get their positioning first.
Looks like all these percentage damage heroes like Harazim last game, Tychus this time around, are really showing up to be strong here against heroes like Murden, Diablo, basically all those high health pool warriors, right? Pretty cool to see that. In my personal opinion, Tychus should be picked way more often in China, because I think he fits their playstyle just so well. You know, you isolate someone, preferably an enemy warrior, which they always do, and then you just blast and spray that entire minigun load on them. Pretty cool to see that. What also cool to see was how Leoric basically shredded this entire skeleton wave with one skeleton swing. Super cool.
So holds the line, at least for the moment. So Keshi also beginning to move in though, looking to poke down. Forcing Soap off the point actually. The One take up positioning, but they are 10 behind their opponents.
Yeah, they are. They're going to have to find some openings here, preferably some kills as well. There goes the Dragon Queen Tetra, and I think the One is trying to make their hold here now.
They're looking for it. 21 to 23. They want to manage to catch up. Fantastic abundance, but a Scroll of Sealing gets everyone as Hucho begins to move forward. Misaka getting rooted by the Thrall. 26 to 36. SPT able to snipe several more. Again, abundance catching everyone in the circle.
They have
but
no damage.
While this is happening, SPT grab the objective.
They grab the objective, and they're probably going to find a kill on Raynor as well. The slow is good, but the healing by Alexstrasza is better. Everybody's getting slowed, though. That might be a one, double, almost a triple kill. And Tetra, the damage just wasn't there from the One. Did you see how long it took them to even try and begin chipping down a hero like Garrosh or Leoric? There was no pressure at all.
Yep, pre-stacking on Thrall, this is going to be rough. So as such, SPT capitalizing on their early heroes, able to make some serious plays, fantastic AoE damage, trying to punish the heroes of the One. I wouldn't have minded a couple better timed grenades from Tychus onto the Abundance to try and push some people out of it to deny healing, but the Emeralds from Decade Kane also can be very effective as we now have level 7 available.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of punishing, as you said, potentially by SPT to really, you know, diminish the value of these abundance circles, right? We have a grenade that can sometimes even knock people out of it. Sometimes you will see the Emerald Cube being super valuable as well. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Alexstrasza to really get it done. Honestly, I wouldn't even have minded a concussion grenade in this game on the side of Tychus at level 7, which is a talent I normally never suggest, but against an Alexstrasza here to maybe even knock them out of the circle could have been a funky approach. But of course, the quarterback, which is the talent that MeloDC ended up taking, it's just the more reliable one, and most importantly, the one that allows Tychus to keep a safer distance.
Gets tossed in. Immediately tosses out, and everyone stays alive. But Groundbreaker was fully stacked. Sorry, Warbreaker was fully stacked by Garrosh, so going to be doing a little bit more damage over time and some lovely cooldown reduction, which when combined with his level 13 when he gets it, going to give him some nice shielding and keep him alive even more.
Alright, up to this point, SPT is already showing up a lot stronger than game number 1, right? They're not behind, they're actually in a commanding lead up to this point, getting level 10 here in just a minute. And what do they get at level 10? Let's take a look at it. We're probably going to see March of the Black King against Alexstrasza, although, of course, you can never forget about Entomb and the value it can get. We're going to see the Taunt, which is amazing against Murden. Like, you taunt Murden when he thinks he's safe, he can't get away to safety with Ward Toss, and then you're going to spray him down with a minigun. Can actually be super, super dangerous for any warrior. And we do see the Entomb instead, after all, Tetra.
I mean, I'm happy about that. They have so much CC set up. They go Lornado as well. They could have such a really crazy combo there. There it is. So Lornado into the Entomb could be so much disruption for them. They've got potential. The fact is, this is all about the late game for SPT. They're already in a slight lead, but last time they suffered in the mid to late game and they started to get outplayed. This time they've actually got a lead in the early game and much later into the game than they had last time. And they've got the heroics to not only continue to do well in the mid game, but to just straight up win the late game. Buried Alive, big red button, potential for play of the game, and if not, Bullseye will still be effective for Hanzo. Just drop it directly into the Entomb.
Here we go. Speaking of powerful heroic abilities, though, there's a lot of punch now available for the One as well with that Hyperion. The Earthquake, you know, everything is going to take additional damage as long as they're slowed by it because of that level 1 talent. Haymaker actually coming in from Huhu as well. Was super cool to see that. Unfortunately, no kill could be granted.
Oh, Dwarf Toss used the Entomb, trying to lock down Huhu, but Cleansing Flame was burned there. 2 heroics burned on either side. 3, sorry, burned on either side as the Lornado was used as well. But the difference is, Cleansing Flame is a significantly longer cooldown than any of the others here. Still 80 seconds away, but Alexstrasza still has Dragon Queen, so she still has something that can help them win the fight, and immediately drops it as they begin to try and take the position, try to focus down the Garrosh, who's caught in the Earthquake. Hyperion coming through as well. They take out the Auric.
They take out the Auric with a great combo. Tychus is not safe from the Haymaker. I think he actually overstayed his welcome here. Immediately, the support is trying to keep him alive, but the potions aren't ready. It is a 2-for-1.
Tychus taken out, nicely done.
Back,
the one able to make the play. Like I said, that haymaker was really good. Soap does return as he moves on for Kieshi, looking for the play angle. Misaka moves forward. Good Emerald onto Reina, but he was already pretty healthy. The Entomb on Yorel, but she is just tanking through this with no difficulties. 27 to 26, 4 versus 4. Both teams right now trying to race the Immortal while CCing each other. Hugo is dropping very low.
He does have the Ardent Defender though, and he's using it right now. Hugo tanking through a little bit longer. The Lornado is good to actually split the team of the one. Are they going to find that opening SPT that is? They got it actually, the one. They did get the objective. Now they need to keep their heroes alive.
Tychus has returned. There goes the Thrall. Hugo dodges the trade. Hope Soap is diving for it, decides against it, realizes he can't go any further.
Back in the mix.
Punisher gets baited back in here. It's 4 versus 5 here in favor of SPT, but the one are still trying to make the play with that Punisher. They take out Soap.
They take out Soap, and Meng just barely surviving against his Terran brother. Now it might be Misaka in trouble. The body blocks are real. The big brother is helping as well. The Punisher turning the tides around in the one's favor. And what looked like a lost team fight, what looked like a good turnaround by SPT now turns out a disaster. Another stun. Is the follow-up going to be there?
They're going to be able to take down the Punisher. Entomb on Muradin. Muradin says... no, apparently, to his own Dwarf Toss. It was on cooldown. He gets taken out. Has to Haymaker to try and keep himself alive, but it does not work. So now he is dead and has a cooldown, but it will be back by the time he arrives in any kind of fight.
All right, guys, let's slow down here a little bit. That was quite the escalation happening here in the top lane between those two teams. That team fight, all things considered, raged on for more than 2 minutes straight up, with that objective rejoining the fray as well. So now teams are going to have to lick their wounds. They're going to have to reassemble. But already I'm starting to like the team fighting by the one more and more. You know, with those controlling tools like the Haymaker, actually doing pretty okay against Tychus for the most part. The Earthquake, Rainer, Hyperion synergy is really strong as well. And now we have Healing Static for Muradin to keep him alive a little bit more. But hey, good luck trying to survive that onslaught. When there's anti-healing, percentage damage, Muradin has to say goodbye.
I mean, that wasn't even a terrible play by Muradin. He was absolutely doing what he should do and scouting like that camp, seeing if his team could make a play. But unfortunately, his scouting of the bush was so poorly timed with a 4-man rotation. He then gets silenced, stunned, and just blown up before he even has a chance to cast a Healing Static or a Dwarf Toss. That was absolutely not his fault. He was doing what he should have, but it was very bad timing.
Yeah, it was also superior, rotations by SPT. Expecting the Muradin or someone else to enter that bush in order to scout it and have a little bit of vision for the teammates. So good and well played by them. We now see Pacify, though, on the side of Alex Strasser, deciding to go for Pacify over the healing granted by Life Unbound. Unstoppable, actually waited for. Beautifully done by the one, and that was another classy kill for Muradin and his boys. And yeah, Pacify, the one that I tried to talk a bit about earlier. The damage reduction can be put on both Tychus or Hanzo. I think on Hanzo it usually gets a little more value though, because you can stop the percentage damage even if you put 2 Pacifies on 1 Tychus.
Exactly, and it is interesting that once again, both the tanks are trying to do their scouting work and both are getting wrecked for it. This time Garrosh was trying to zone away and just gets absolutely destroyed, playing around the Indomitable of Garrosh so effectively as the one retake control. They're still behind in experience though.
And they are. I mean, they're making some moves, right? They're showing they're still alive. They even got an objective in that previous phase, but as you said, in that grand scheme of things, their experience is just not there yet. With a couple of towers here and there, though, they're probably going to make things happen. They're even trying to push as a 5-man unit. Dragon's Arrow landing on 2 targets. The healing, will it be enough? The Muradin falls yet again.
Again, the Wrecking Ball taunt coming in from Garrosh just destroys Muradin. And it's a situation of, I would like to point out, we're probably going to get some things in chat of just like, oh, this wouldn't have happened if he picked Avatar. But the fact is, he hasn't had a chance to cast a single ability for both of those engages.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if Avatar would have saved him here. I mean, percentage damage, right?
Yeah, he's silenced every time he gets flipped in. Even if he had Avatar on, like you said, the percentage damage might have killed him anyway.
Hugo.
So pretty rough. Hugo's in trouble. Cubes dropped. Here's the triangle. It gets dodged around. Ancient Blessings is used, but once again, Misaka with a good angle. Lornado dropped a little bit early there, trying to get the good angle, but unable to do so. And with the Ardent Defender, Yrel lives.
And that is sometimes, you know, the curse of not picking Divine Steed. I mean, obviously, the build that Hugo went for is the more common one in the pro scene, at least in China. But with Divine Steed, he could have probably escaped without having to use the Ardent Defender because it would have given him more mobility. As it is, though, he was not really aware of that rotation in the first place. He probably anticipated and thought that their opponents would be busy doing the Shrine. So he thought he could maybe get in some additional soak in the top lane for that 16. Speaking of Shrines and Punishers, though, here it comes. Yrel in trouble. No Ardent Defender. Bye-bye, Hugo.
Dragon Arrow whiffs, though, so with Hugo down, there's still a defense possible here by the one. Punisher dropped down to half health already. We see Muradin dives in, Haymaker, and see ya, Tigers. Cleansing Flame, is they going to try and snipe him? No, it's going to be used on Jesh to try and keep him alive. Gets tossed in by Gareth with the Wrecking Ball. Good knock up, and Tigers, who was the target initially, picks up the kill.
Tigers picks up the kill. The entirety of SPT is low. The Punisher is about to fall as well. The Arcane turns, though he spawned another one, but the keep should be fine. That was such a confusing fight to me because I always tried to follow Alexstraszus' Cleansing Flames, but I couldn't really spot them. So it was kind of, you know, back and forth between damaging the enemy team and healing her own allies. As it is, though, I think TheOne did considerably well, losing you know, Yrel so early on, and that all went back to that play in the top lane, right? If Hugo hadn't had to use the Ardent Defender, he definitely would have survived that onslaught, and maybe TheOne could have defended even better than they already did.
But for now, TheOne, their defense, their keep survives, but their fort's getting taken down with SPT still making the most of their man advantage. With the only person who died in their fight for them was Soap, who is Leoric. He returns.
Yeah.
And that's such the one they're trying to gain XP elsewhere on the map. They know 20 might be available the next time the fight happens, so they're going to try and push up top lane and gain some XP there, but they might need to return to mid to defend it.
That they do. I think SPT played this very smartly. Not only did they steal a mercenary camp on behalf of TheOne, but they also postured up unseen. So TheOne, they probably thought, you know, SPT had retreated, but they did not do that, and instead they threatened that middle keep here. Now, that Fallen Shaman camp is about to take that fort. I think they defended it just in the nick of time, and only now is the Abundance quest completed for Alexstraszus. That took a long time.
A little bit of extra globes there, so healing and mana. Mana's going to be especially nice for Thrall, who's going to want to spam that lightning.
Yeah.
Trying to play the camp a bit. Garrosh, though, moves forward, doesn't get the toss, though. Just delays, just chucks Yrel out, doesn't want to deal with her at all.
That's the thing, right? Is TheOne going to pull the trigger? Are they going to try to maybe find an opening here before SPT turns 20? Or are they going to be like, okay, guys, we can't really find anything. We can't really do anything. Let's just try to get 20 ourselves. With that middle keep being so low, though, there's going to be a pretty solid winning condition for SPT, right? The moment they win a team fight, at any given moment now, they can straight up rush to the core, ideally in unison with that Punisher. Hugo this time around gets silenced as well and trapped in another Entomb.
Ardent, though, he's able to make it through the silence as Muradin dives deep looking for a Haymaker target, but everyone keeps jumping away from him. Cleansing Flame chases down a bit, but everyone on both teams survives. As Muradin, though, he does complete the Stormbolt quest.
And look at that. Tetra, Dragon Queen was used, right? That's a massive cooldown. And guess what happens? Yep. Just now, the Shrine ends up spawning. So many juicy cooldowns won't be available now for CJZ. On the other hand, we still have Tychus Odin for SPT. And all the other heroic abilities, including the Dragon's Era, I think will be back in time. So TheOne, I think, in terms of raw cooldown management, took the shorter end of this trade.
That was Cleansing Flame and Dragon Queen, as you did say. We have the brilliant gems coming in for the Deck of Cain now, so he's going to have no cooldown, but with level 20, Buried Alive is now available, and Leoric is nowhere near.
Yep, Hugo needs to be careful. Doesn't have the Ardent Defender anymore. One team member ends up dying here, and it could be all she wrote for TheOne. Yep.
Muradin comes in. He looks like he was trying to capitalize by trying to get a Haymaker and maybe get some of the counter kill. Has to use it for escape. Used his only escape tools and engage, and he's dead.
And that Tetra was a 4 versus 5. Leoric wasn't even there.
Yep. 4 versus 5 into level 20. So now not only are they going to lose 2 heroes, they're probably going to lose they're definitely going to lose the Punisher.
Yep.
And this is a disaster.
It is, and I think this was basically a homemade disaster for TheOne because they had the numbers advantage. True, they didn't have 20, but with one additional hero, you should normally normally never fall this quickly to an onslaught. And I think it was due to poor positioning, right? Hugo should have realized, you know what, I don't have my Ardent Defender anymore. I just used it, so I can't afford to die. I mean, mind you, both Murd and Irel will be back to defend the core, but look at all that free damage. The one can't even leash that Punisher over the wall. They can't even defend anything about that keep. That's going to be a free one. Look at the health of this Punisher as well, Tetcher. 100%. This is going to be a core.
Yeah, they're going to try and move in with this. Keep gets dropped so quickly. Fallen Shaman also able to take down the keep. They're just going to dive past it and look for kills.
Yep.
And with the Punisher focusing onto the core. Everyone's alive for the one. Last-ditch effort. Once again, into level 20. Here comes the Cleansing Flame. Trying to defend this. Buried alive onto just one member in the backline. Just onto your else. That's not too bad. Hyperion is wrecking, though, as Huhu gets taken out. The Hyperion is not doing enough here.
To this point is not doing enough. Dragon Queen is here to save the day some way, somehow. Raiders tanking through. Gets absolutely thrown into the backline, though. He ends up falling. And Hugo, with the help of the Ardent Defender, maybe he can survive a little bit longer, but the core has already taken fatal damage. SPT is about to equalize the score against their rivals, TheOne, and this is going to be a tie for both teams. They walk away with 1 point each.
1 point each indeed. SPT able to get the 1-1 in the end.